Aha! I told you we'd be back. So we have now seen the Avengers Age of Ultron 3 times on the big screen, and I think we're finally ready to break it down.
I think that was the right number of times to kind of be able to take it all in and analyze it and figure out what worked and what didn't. Obviously, you should, if you haven't seen this movie, shame on you.
This movie is dense.
Yes.
This is
a very busy movie. This is where the Avengers movie is where all the other storylines collide.
Yeah.
Essentially. So they have a lot of stuff to pay off, a lot of stuff to set up, and just have time for all the great action scenes, all the great character moments, and everything else. All the cameos too. There's a lot of cameos in this movie.
Yeah, I think this is the most Marvel movie that has ever been made.
It really feels like a comic book story. It's part of Joss Whedon's style, especially in the dialogue. It really sounds like just comic book dialogue. It's just how he writes. Almost every line is something very witty in the Joss Whedon style, which sometimes makes it sound not quite natural, but that doesn't really bother me very much.
This movie, I sort of got the sense that because these guys are superheroes and their existence is kind of crazy and they're on the front lines of, all the weird stuff, they are operating on a whole different level from we puny mortals.
Yeah, so that's why they talk the way they do. So how was Ultron as a bad guy?
I was really surprised at how they made the whole weird sense of humor thing work.
Yeah. See, for one justification, usually in the comics he's more of the soulless android, or he's kind of more insane but not very humorous. Presumably the original plan was they would have done the Ant-Man movie by now and incorporate Hank Pym, or however they're going to do that, into this movie, and then he would have created Ultron like he does in the comics. And if that had happened, that version of Ultron would have been a dark reflection of Pym's personality, like it is in the comics, instead of Tony.
Yeah.
And at least on the cartoon, Pym is more of a pacifist. So imagine like the dark version of that, where it's like, I have to destroy the human race to save it, that thing. The way they designed him is interesting. There was a nice touch with the speakers on his cheeks, so that all of his dialogue actually does sound like it's coming out of a pair of speakers. And just his face is fully articulated, which in the comics his face looks more like one of the Ultron drones in this movie. It's stationary and just expressionless. And on the cartoon, Pym says it's supposed to look like an ant's head, which okay.
You say so.
They gave him a fully articulated face. He's got eyebrows and he squints and he's got teeth and lips and you can see his face scrunching and so forth. Or it's probably a mocap performance. He's like struggling to remember something. Oh, it's children. Yes.
There's a lot of his dialogue that sounds like it could have just come from Reddington, his character on the Blacklist.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's talking about that, keep your friends rich and your enemies rich and find out which one is which. With Ultron, they kind of skipped over the whole a soulless robot, kill all humans thing and went to him, having a personality right from the start, which, we've seen the soulless robot before.
Many
Terminator.
times.
Apparently, Terminator doesn't exist in this world.
Yeah, essentially, this is like I said, a dark reflection of Tony Stark's personality, as they remind us several times. Like Wanda saying, "You can't tell the difference between saving the world and destroying it." Where do you think he gets that from? As you said, apparently even Wanda and Pietro are already operating on the same level, so they get to talk like that.
I didn't mind at all that here it's more or less Stark that creates Ultron, because it actually does...
It fits.
Yeah, it fits almost perfectly with where his character would be at this point.
That helps get us to turning Jarvis, played by Paul Bettany, into the Vision. And how cool was that?
Yeah, Vision was more beautiful than I could have ever imagined in this film. It was so amazing seeing him in a movie. It was one of those characters that was just so out there that it was hard to imagine how they could not just get him into a movie, but actually make his backstory work.
Yeah.
Because his backstory kind of comes in several stages. First Ultron is created, and then Ultron goes bad, and then the Avengers fight him several times, and then he creates the Vision. They fight the Vision once or twice, and then Vision turns good. And you're trying to get all of that into a movie. Please don't do it, because it's a mess.
Yeah, so they do that sort of, but it's on kind of an accelerated schedule.
Yeah.
And I can see somebody who is not a comic fan watching this movie and regarding the Vision, they'd be like, wait, what? So what? So they created him in the what?
It's such a cool idea of the Vision's body having been 3D printed in this machine.
Yes.
That's made for
Modern technology, baby.
Synthetic skin, yeah.
Because he is a synthesoid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not made of metal plating like Ultron. He's basically an artificially created, person using synthetic materials.
Yeah, it's really cool how they made that work.
That's all in there, yeah.
And I like how they worked in Helen Cho, which is very unexpected. In the comics, she is the dead mother of Amadeus Cho, who hangs out with Hulk sometimes.
Yeah.
But so, okay, forget Amadeus Cho, we're just going to have his mother be a character, and we're not even going to kill her. Which,
yeah.
Hey, that's nice.
That shows some nice restraint. And it's nice to have another, person of color in these movies. And it's cool that among all the cameos, we do get War Machine and the Falcon and Heimdall in this movie, and Nick Fury.
Yeah, wow.
All in the same film.
So with Wanda and Pietro, that was another thing that really made it feel much more Marvel.
Yeah, how's it feel with the number of Avengers in this movie? We're up to 9, 10 if you count War Machine, but War Machine wasn't in the circle at the end.
Yeah.
With this many Avengers, sometimes they don't always have time to, develop these characters. We don't get to spend very much time with Wanda and Pietro. And it is weird, other than their wordless cameo at the end of Winter Soldier, it's just weird to have an Avengers movie where there are a couple Avengers that we've never met before. It's like even in all the other solo movies or on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
right.
we never got to know we never got to know these guys. So it's like, oh yeah, these two are important, even though we haven't established them yet.
And making them not mutants but enhanced.
Yeah, because mutants are owned by 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, but we get to share Wanda and Pietro, so
that's nice. Just have to deal with that.
Contract disputes.
So whenever they say enhanced, just replace that in your mind with mutants.
Yeah, a lot of people prefer Quicksilver in Days of Future Past, which I understand his stuff is more fun in there. But I kind of prefer him in this movie because he has an arc here.
Yeah.
And 2, he has Wanda.
Yeah.
And so he actually feels a little more complete, whereas in Days of Future Past, he's just kind of a one-scene wonder.
Yeah. It's a great scene,
oh, yeah.
But here he's in the whole film.
Yeah. It's weird how, he feels more like a fully developed character, even though he can't hang out with the X-Men or get to know his real dad, which is weird, because in Days of Future Past, they have Quicksilver and Magneto. They can do the whole, family thing, but they don't.
Yeah.
They just kind of drop one line there. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, Magneto is the dad.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the real story, which has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, presumably they'll get back to that in the next X-Men movie.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to wait.
Yeah, it's weird that we gotta wait for something that significant. One of the amazing things about the twins is how different they are. You got, like Murray Hill says, he's fast and she's weird.
Yeah.
His powers are really easy to explain. He's got super speed, whereas it's like probability altering, magic, arcane arts,
mind control,
telekinesis thing, all stuff.
Her powers are much more straightforward in this movie actually than they generally are in the comic.
And although it is essentially reduced to Jean Grey type powers, she's still doing it with the whole water bending stuff, which is very Scarlet Witch.
Yes, yeah.
I like that. There's a bit where Cap tells Quicksilver to get the civilians out of the way and has Wanda stop the train. I totally buy that Wanda in the comics would be able to stop that train and that it would look very much like the way she does it here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a faithful adaptation as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Now, one thing I just realized is that we never have a scene where it's just Wanda and Pietro just talking to each other about is this really what we should be doing, working with this Ultron robot guy? And yeah, we gotta destroy a star, we gotta destroy it. No, we never really get a scene like that where we just get a sense of just their interaction by themselves. And I bet that's one of the things we get in all these deleted scenes I've been hearing about.
Yeah,
Apparently the first cut of this movie, this 2.5-hour movie, was about 4 hours. So there's probably a lot of stuff they had to remove from an already very stuffed movie. So I really hope we get to see some of that on a DVD release and maybe even an official longer cut of the film.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is going to be like Lord of the Rings, where the extended version ends up being the one that everybody just watches from then on.
Yeah, that becomes the official version.
We first got into the Avengers playing the arcade game Captain America and the Avengers, where Vision was one of the playable guys. It was him and Hawkeye and Captain America and Iron Man. And this is back when Vision was a white guy. I mean,
yeah.
Not that kind of white. You know what I mean?
He was pasty white. He was going through a phase.
Yeah. We jumped on board when Vision had been an established Avenger for a while. To me, he's like the ultimate Avenger. He is the most... He's one of the guys who is like the defining character in the saga of the Avengers, whereas guys like Captain America and Thor and Iron Man, they kind of have their own stories.
Yeah.
But
the Avengers made the Vision, essentially.
Exactly. As they do here. Like, yeah, to tell the story of the Avengers, it's just to tell the story of Vision. He's sort of one of those characters, like every team book, especially something like the Justice League, where it has characters who appear in their own titles. The team book is usually about the guys who only appear in this title, while the heavy hitters have their stories paid off elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's why folks like Scarlet Witch and Vision and like Wonder Man
and Hawkeye
and stuff, their stories play out in the pages of Avengers much more than anywhere else.
And Hawkeye is now a much more substantial character here.
Yes, thankfully.
And I don't think they were doing it because, like, oh, we made a mistake in the first movie by not featuring Hawkeye. Now, if they, they knew what they were doing. I mean, Joss Whedon said that one of the reasons he took him out of the movie the way he did in the first film was because he had so many characters to work with already. Just, let me put this guy aside so that I have more space to work with. A lot of Hawkeye stuff in this movie is sort of poking fun at the fact that he doesn't really need to be there necessarily, but do they still value him being there? There's a line early in the movie where he says, yeah, make sure he's okay because us pretending that we need him really brings the team together.
Yeah. I love that there were all these tricks he did to make us think that Hawkeye was the one who was going to die.
Yeah.
Starting with, oh yeah, he's got a wife and kids, and 3 days from retirement, and
yeah, and he has plans to knock out this wall so that the kitchen's bigger.
So of course when Ultron's coming in and getting him for him, we think that that's it for him, and then Quicksilver dies instead. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who would have seen that coming?
Yeah, is he gonna get resurrected?
Yeah, I was wondering.
I have no idea. Well, I guess we'll see. I feel like they'll do something. I mean, maybe Joss Whedon is hoping to make this one stick, but I feel like if the MCU doesn't have their Quicksilver, then they can't carry on this pissing match with 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
With their Quicksilver.
It occurs to me that GH whatever formula they use on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is derived from Kree blood, would heal up Quicksilver no problem since he's basically an Inhuman.
Yeah.
Just the way it did Skye and Coulson. Well, really Skye because Coulson had side effects. I am starting to get a little bit tired of the bad guy with an army of henchmen that all of the heroes can take out easily and just cut through like they're made of aluminium. I think even Hawkeye can just shoot them down as easily as pretty much Wanda can shoot them down. And there's of course the great sort of very comic book shot where Vision blasts him with his Mind Stone
and Thor blasts him with his hammer and Iron Man blasts him with his repulsors.
Yeah. In like Justice League, it would be Superman and Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern, and they would be blasting like Brainiac. That would be the DC equivalent of that action beat.
Yes.
That's it. You get all the guys with the blaster powers in there doing their thing.
Yeah, and I remember Joss Whedon did note that he was glad to have Quicksilver and Wanda on the team now, and I guess Vision as well, because they add more variety of power to the team. Because all the guys he had to work with, except I guess for Iron Man in the first film, he said had very punchy powers.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I was the only one who, in that final bit with the team surrounding the device, taking on Ultron's army, if anyone else thought of that episode of that Power Rangers team-up special. Where the two teams got to take on the whole army of whatever that season's henchmen were. And they're all like, no one gets inside our circle!
No one gets inside!
No one gets inside!
No one gets inside!
No one gets inside!
No one gets inside! You got it, Commander!
It's not quite as well choreographed there of them holding the circle, because the circle breaks instantly because it's, it's easier to choreograph that kind of action. Because once we get all the Avengers, working together, I'm just singing the Avengers anthem from the cartoon there. Always we will fight as one.
So I pointed out that if Ultron was smart, he wouldn't bring all of his drones to this fight, because once Vision locks them out of the internet, all they gotta do is destroy the drones. so he should just send all the drones away, or even like send some of the drones away.
Yeah, send like half of the drones out in every direction.
Yeah.
And then just deal with the Avengers with what he has left.
I tend to think that well, it's because Ultron is very arrogant, and he's maybe not as smart as he thinks he is, and he really wants this whole us versus them thing to play through, and that I guess comes back to bite him.
But he's still supposed to be smart.
Yeah.
He's still supposed to want to win. Something that makes it feel like the comics is how many cameos there are in this movie from characters from all the other movies. I mean, Falcon is in this movie. He may not have much to do, but he's in it. And I like how they drop the thing about so how's that missing persons case going?
Yeah.
Going to Winter Soldier. I kind of wish he'd gotten to join in on the fight the way War Machine did, but oh well.
Yeah, War Machine showed up in the story kind of how I always imagined War Machine showing up in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Where he needs some extra firepower, so he's there. Yeah.
I like that in the visions we get in one of those little hallucinations we get to see Heimdall, so we get Idris Elba in this movie. We get to see Peggy Carter is in this movie, so that was cool. And yeah, again, feels like the comics. There are a few things I noticed that are maybe too similar to the first film, but anyways, for one, like to establish how tough this villain is that they need the whole team to fight him. Basically, almost every Avenger gets to take their turn fighting Ultron, just the way almost every Avenger got to have a turn, taking out Loki. So first Iron Man gets to fight him, and then Captain America gets to fight him. That was a great fight, by the way, very underdog thing, and I like that. Basically, the only move that Cap has that is effective at all is just throwing his shield at him over and over again.
Yeah, felt like very like the arcade game.
Exactly, yeah.
And I noticed that
just keep throwing the shield.
I don't know what a Cap suit is made of in this movie, but he takes several shots from Ultron's finger lasers, like center mass.
Yeah.
It just keeps on going.
And then Thor gets to have a turn, and Hulk gets to have a turn. He gets to throw him out of the thing, and then finally Wanda gets to finish him off. And of course Vision gets a turn because he's got to get a turn. And also the climax revolves around do we sacrifice this one city to save everybody else? And in the first movie it's a definitive no. And then in this movie it's are you sure? No. Another thing we'd made a point about in interviews was he wanted to show the people who made Man of Steel, okay, here's how you save people.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of scenes in this movie of, okay, we got to get the civilians out of the way, which was great. It actually does make the Avengers feel more heroic.
I remember with Man of Steel, it was very unusual to see this kind of, superpowered fighting on film at that point. But once we saw it, it's like, okay, I think we really need to rethink how we stage these battles.
Yeah, it's almost like they got caught up in just, look, we can do this fight, but it's like, does this make sense? And furthermore, is this heroic?
Yeah.
General Zod picks up an oil tanker and throws it at Superman. Superman just kind of glides out of the way and lets it explode into the building behind him without a care in the world. It's like, dude, you're supposed to move it. I like to have seen a version of in the Sherlock Holmes movies where he's got analyze.
Somebody
really
mentioned
quick.
this, yeah.
You gotta analyze really quick. Okay, if I let him punch me this way, then we'll avoid civilians. We'll take the fight into the unpopulated area. And it's like, okay, if I let him do this, and then this, maybe when they're charging at each other, it's like, okay, behind me is is away from the city. So if we charge at each other and I let him push me, then I can trick him into
Kind of like the tactics that we see in the Hulkbuster fights.
Exactly, yes.
Which was such an amazing, and I never thought I'd say it, but mesmerizing throwdown, because there's all these tactics going on, and especially given that the Hulkbuster was made specifically to subdue the Hulk.
Yeah, not just to fight the Hulk, but actually to subdue him and to try to
and restrain him.
And try to get him out of the way. Where he attaches a cup to him and tries to carry him away from the city.
Yeah.
But he foils that.
My favorite line in the movie might be, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. In the final scene of the movie, we see the new Avengers headquarters.
Yes.
Which I think it never occurred to me that, like in all the comics, we have Avengers Mansion, which is populated by the Avengers and Jarvis the Butler, and that's it. But here we see it, and it's fully staffed with tons of people. You got Maria Hill and Helen Cho there, and you got Eric Selvig is there. All their civilian friends are there running the place, along with the Avengers,
Yeah.
Their sort of a training and a tactical facility.
Nice. Yes.
And just seeing like Wanda and Falcon in their new outfits was great to see, and it really makes me look forward to how many Avengers will be around by the time we get to Infinity War.
Yeah, given how many Avengers are going to appear in Civil War.
Yeah. That's gonna be nice.
Civil War basically is going to be Avengers 3.
Yeah.
Not Avengers 2.5, but Avengers 3.
But Thor's not in it. Well, Thor is often off doing other things in big Avengers stories.
Yeah.
So
Not every Avengers story has Thor in it.
Yeah. Alright, so that is it. That is Avengers Age of Ultron. That covers up the MCU up to this point. I expect we will do something talking about them Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the near future before the next season comes on.
And maybe Ant-Man when that comes out.
Yes, of course. Definitely going to talk about Ant-Man. So stay tuned for that, and we will see you next time.